and not seeing all the little problems that I'm seeing, just because I think they optimize what they have right now, just basically for side being operation, which is not a bad thing. I'm glad they did it, just to get it out there, and then we can just kind of peck away at the other stuff. Okay, Mike, back to you. Let's get you golf sugar.
Okay, real good. Yeah, excellent on all, and okay on the electric stuff. I didn't even realize stuff like that was available, but I can easily see it. One thing I was thinking about, you got electric sock, electric sweatshirt, something like that. That's going to be an extra draw on the alternator on your motorcycle. I don't know how much current those things have, but everything is kind of on the smaller size there, so there's a limit. So, well, that's obviously considered, so ignore that. Yep. I guess we'll just let the thing kind of mature in this kind of stuff as far as the thetas. Well, we're beyond the starting time here, so I guess I'll just see if anybody's out here. I'll say CQ. This is the Software Defined Radio Group normal gathering meeting at 12:30 local time here in Minnesota. My name is Mike, and I'm located in southeastern Minnesota. We do have K0JTA George on board, and looking for any possible further check-ins. If you'd like to be able to see what I see and hear what I hear, look me up in K0JTA. My call once again is K0JTA, Kilo Zero Juliet Tango Alpha. Look me up in K0JTA. There's a bright red link at the top of the page. Click on that. That'll take you to YouTube. Once you're there, look for one of the icons that says Live Now, and you'll be able to see what I see and hear what I hear. Anybody would like to check in, if you're interested in software defined radios, fine. If you're not, that's okay too. Looking for a signal check, come ahead. This is K0JTA standing by, over.
Kilo India 6 Uniform Mike.
K0JTA.
Got KI6UM and K0ZBI. KI6UM, good afternoon, Lou, go ahead.
Hello, Mike. Good afternoon to you and good morning. K0JTA and the Software Defined Radio Group. This is KI6UM. Well, conditions are not too great. I can hear you, but not that great, and George is in and out. But maybe things will improve. Well, sorry to hear about your experience with it didn't work for you. Well, I'm still using it here, and it seems to be working okay for me. I went back and forth. I went back to Power SCR, and it worked fine too. I was able to reload the previous firmware for Power SCR, and everything worked fine. So let's watch the radio there may not have the same architecture that we have on the 8000. So back to you, Mike. K0JTA, the Software Defined Radio Group, KI6UM.
Okay, real good. Yeah, you're not wildly strong here today either, but it's still a perfectly easy copy. I'm just going to play back just a short snip. There it comes. Okay, I'll chop it off there, but you get the picture, so yeah, interesting. I don't know, there's just something different about that. Well, in your case, your machine has a very different architecture. Like George's 7000, he's got the Mark II, so he has the brushed aluminum front panel. In my case, mine is a smaller radio, number 1. Number 2, it's got the painted front panel. So it's just, there's some other differences, obviously they're in there too. Looking at the specifications or whatever, it does say that I have the Orion Mark II board, so I'm there, but of course there's some other things that are just different. Okay, I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and pick up George, K0ZBI. You're not wildly strong here, George, but I'm able to hear you. K0ZBI, this is K0JTA, over.
Okay, Mike, K0JTA, this is K0ZBI. Just stopped by to say hello and good afternoon and have you took me down to the count. I heard K6UM, I think, pointing up the last part of the call, but anyway, I heard him just real nice for the first time in a long time. But anyway, just put me down one transmission here, and I'm going to get upstairs again to take care of dinner and laundry there. So K0JTA, K0JTA, thank you.
Okay, I bumped the mouse, but I caught it this time rather than transmitted some other frequency. Yep, real good, George. Well, yeah, thanks very much. I'm going to play back a little bit of recording. Are you coming in here? Here it comes. Okay, that's in a recording, but you get the picture, so, yep, real good. Well, 7-3 then, George. Thanks for dropping by, and we'll see you later on. By the way, to the folks that don't know, George lives about 8 miles southeast of me, or maybe southeast of me, and he's in Cannon Falls, and I'm the next little burg up the hill here, which is Hampton. So, K0ZBI 7-3, K0JTA, over.
Yeah, 73 got Mike, and enjoy the day with the family if they're there. K0ZBI, please.
Yep, no, we're just, everybody's just kind of laying low. We'll get some other issues here that very serious sickness in the family. So the other participants that are close by here are in Rochester attending to that situation. So that's the way it goes. 7-3 then, George. Back up to George, the other George, W2GS. I'll give you chances to, jump in here again because I know that you're kind of on short time. W2GS and the SDR group. This is K0JTA. Go ahead, George, over.
Okay, Mike, Whiskey 2 Golf Sugar here. I heard Lou fairly well. The band is so quiet that he was about S4 to S5, but there was no problem copying him. And if I had more ambition, I would have turned up the volume and got that to work a little bit better. But I could hear him just fine. And the other George, I got him here about S7, S8, and also you're here about S7 and S8, Mike. So everything's working good. Hopefully you'll get a couple more participants here, and can continue the net here with a little bit more excitement than all the dead bands we have. I'm going to check out now, Mike. I'll say best 73s, Lou, best 73 to you if you can hear me. And Mike, I was going to say just wait a little bit longer, and they'll get everything working, and we can figure out what's going on with your radio and feed us there. So 73s all around. Whiskey 2 Golf Sugar.
Yep, sounds good on all. Sounds good on all. Very, very good. I'm glad you're able to hear George, and I'm pretty sure he's running 100 watts, but he's got a beam antenna, so that probably makes a difference in this kind of stuff. And quite likely he had it aimed in your direction, which would, of course, favor a better signal than from his locality. Like I say, he's only about 8 miles away from me. He's got a tri-band antenna, and that, of course, just barks louder than my, my 75-meter loop antenna here. So that's the way it goes. All right, 7-3 then, George. Pass it to KS6UM if you had something for George. KS6UM, K0JTA, over. I'm not hearing George. KS6UM, KS6UM, K0JTA, over. I heard you in there, but I don't know if you turn it over or what. Over.
Hello, K0JTA in the software-defined group, KI6UM. Okay, I'm saying hello to George there, but I don't have very good copy on either one of you guys.
Okay, George, I'm sure you can hear that he's not hearing either one of us. And Lou, your signal has dropped down to me. W2GS, K0JTA, over.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I don't know if you could hear Lou. Could you hear Lou? Because he was saying he was having a hard time hearing both you and me, over.
I heard him a little bit. He cut out there for a second. You called him, he didn't come back, and then he came back, and then he cut out like in the middle of his transmission, and then I heard the end of his transmission where he said he wasn't copying. And there was another station that wanted to break in there. Mike, you might take a chance and pick him up. I'm going to get out of here now. Mike, best 73.
Okay, real good. I did not hear that at the station, so if I don't hear him, who would like to join in? This is K0JT. Otherwise, George, pick him up if you would, please. K0JT is standing by, over.
Whiskey Bravo 6, Juliet, Foxtrot Hotel. Good morning, Mike.
Oh yeah, David, I can hear you. 7-3 George, nice to have you come aboard. 7-3 George, over.
Okay, 73. There was another station though, Mike. It was a K. I think it was another K. I think it was a KI or something like that. So you might get one more call.
Okay, why don't you call that station if you would, please, over.
Okay, this is the SDR Net. This is Whiskey 2 Golf Sugar. Anybody listening wants to check in, please give me a call now. Nothing heard, Mike. Nothing heard. So I'll turn it back to you and say hi to David real quick. David, I heard you down here in Mississippi. You were coming in a little bit on the weak side, but I got you anyway. That's 73.
Okay, real good, George. All right, I'll take one more standby. I got WB6JFH and the rest of the group. Who else was trying to join in? This is K0JTA standing by. Over. I hear nothing here, George. Okay, doke, real good. WB6JFH, Mr. David, go ahead, sir. How are you doing? And how's your Mother's Day event, or well, not maybe event, but how's your Mother's Day at least acknowledgement going on, David? Over.
K0JTA in the group, WB6JFH. Oh, nothing's going to happen until this afternoon, so we'll, see what happens there and how that goes. Sorry to hear you had all the problems with pieces and stuff. Reading your post in the user group and stuff like that, so I don't know if you've get that resolved yet or not. For me, I haven't had a problem so far. Everything's been working fine. Still tweaking things a little bit just to get it back to where it was with Power SDR, but no issues at all at the moment. So, but I've got a question for you as well. A lot of the posts said that there was a switch on the back of the radio that you guys were switching back and forth to run or program the radio. Is that true? Because I don't have a switch on the back of mine. All I have is a switch on the bottom that was there on the N and 10 as well. So is that true? Is there really a switch on the back of the radio? I'm asking because my radio is serial number 25. So it's one of the earlier ones, and apparently it has a different memory chip in it than the later ones has, which seems to be maybe part of the issue of people are having trying to update the new firmware and stuff. At least that's what from the post, where it seems like people are heading anyway. So anyway, you're coming in here about S9, S8, and S9. Really nice signal, and like George says, the background noise is really quiet at the moment, so we can even hear Lou a little bit because he's about an S3 and my noise right now is about S2, where usually it's S4 or 5, and I'm guessing it'll probably get up there as the day goes on, but maybe a lot of people are out of town, so all their devices that are making noise are not being used at the moment. So, good signal here. If George is still listening, hello to him. He was really good here as well. And I don't know if Lou can hear me. He might, but if so, I'll say hello to him as well. Back to you, Mike. K0JTA in the group. WB6JFH. Go ahead.
Okay, doke, real good. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, very interesting. Well, as far as that switch, first off, yeah, my switch is in the bottom. Well, right now the radio is sitting upright, so I've been able to actually reach under the radio because I have a little, I don't know, about a 1 by 1.5, something like that. Well, piece of wood under the to the front there, and it kind of tilts the radio up at a jaunty angle that matches my 7300 here, and so as a result, then I can reach, around the side here, and I can actually switch the switch just by touch or feel, you might say. But it's on the bottom. Yeah, I think all of the radios do have a switch. In the case of George's new 7000, I think his switch is on the back. Okay, now in your case, yours is, I forget now, did you say yours on the bottom, David, over?
Yes, it is. There's a little cutout on the bottom plate and there's a switch. I'm assuming that switch is the switch that takes care of J14, the connector on the inside where you have to move on the older radios to reprogram or update the firmware and stuff. So that's the only switch I have, and I didn't realize that on the newer radios, I guess the Mark IIs have the switch mounted on the back panel instead of underneath. So that confused me, and so I'm still confused about how to use that switch. Anyway, so just to answer your question, yeah, I have it on the bottom, and I was just having the radio sitting on its feet laying on the table, so I'd have to turn the radio up on its hand to reach the switch and, switch it and stuff. But the thing is, when I got the radio last year, and it had firmware 2.1 and then firmware 2.3 came out, I used bootloader and I don't have to move the switch at all. The bootloader took care of everything, so I'm confused exactly what that switch actually does. My original understanding was that you use the switch if the radio is in a network, like you have, but if the radio is connected directly to the computer, like I have, then the switch, you don't need to toggle the switch. So, but that's not what I'm hearing and seeing in the post in the user group. So I'm confused again. It says I don't have to move it to do any update. When I went to firmware 1.9 for Cetus, I'd use bootloader and it did its thing, and it's running now. So anyway, so I'm confused. We'll see if that confusion gets cleared up as we get through these problems and stuff. K0JTA in the group, WB6JFH.
Okay, WB6GFH and the software-defined radio group. This is K0JTA. Yeah, interesting. Okay, you've got the switch in the bottom. Yours is just like mine then. Okay, you got the 7000 DLE, and you have your unit is about the same size, if you know what the size is, as the Anon 100 or the 100D or the 200D. Is that correct? Number one. Number two, is it a painted front panel, or do you have the aluminum front panel over?
Oh, I have the painted that aqua blue type color. I know it's got a name, but I don't know exactly what, but it's painted front cover. Go ahead.
Okay, real good. Yeah, you have the same thing that I do. And so yours is, yours like mine. I think we're calling that the 7000 DLE Mark 1. The Mark II then has got the little bit larger case, cabinet, whatever, and the aluminum front panel, perhaps the back panel too. I don't even know. I guess the rest of it here is kind of a mottled gray, shiny gray, but the texture and kind of a gray. I don't know how else to describe it, but yeah. Well, it's interesting. All right, but most interesting. Okay, now you go ahead and load your firmware, and you don't have to throw the switch. My goodness, I don't know if I have to or not. In my case, I threw it because that's what the instructions said I needed to do. So for loading either the firmware for Protocol 1 for my HPSDR or for Protocol 2 for Thetis, in both cases I would throw the switch. Well, in both cases then, using the bootloader application, it would load and it would report a successful load. It would show the progress, every 20%, 20, 40, 80% and this kind of stuff. It would show the progress, and when it got all done, it didn't actually say completed, but it said something about the reminder to do something with the jumper J14, I think it was. In other words, throw the switch back, and then also to power cycle the radio. So, to me it looked like it was very interesting. Okay, so I guess the point is that I should perhaps consider trying to load Thetis, but just leave the switch in the run position. In my case, I couldn't. My switch is unlabeled, so I have now labeled as run and boot, run and boot. So right now it's in the run position. If I throw it to boot, I don't know what would happen as far as the normal operation of the radio. I'm assuming that it would just dead in the water, wouldn't be able to reach it with the software, things like that. The other interesting point is that, and I know people were pretty soundly admonishing me for even having the thought, but in my case, when I would, 2 times I've lost the IP identity or connection to the radio. So I would run the bootloader program and using the IP button in the upper left-hand corner, I would put in an IP address of 0.0.0.0, which then apparently would force either the radio or the computer to use a DHCP assignment. And once I would do that, then apply it, turn that program off, and then power cycle the radio, turn the radio in the power SDR on. It would reach the radio, and I would have an IP identity and things like that. But in those cases now, my success was with the switch in the run position. And once again, people were admonishing me for doing it that way because that was incorrect. But in 2 cases now, it has worked reliably. So my point is that with your discovery, all right, maybe I would be able to do that same kind of a thing here. In other words, I'd load the firmware for Thetis for Protocol 2, but I would leave the switch in the run position. That's very, very interesting, David. WB6JFH and the Software Defined Radio Group. This is K0JTA. Go ahead, David, over.
K0JTA group, WB6JFH. Well, remember, my radio and computer are connected directly. I don't have a network. And that seems to be the issue with the switches, whether you're in a network or not. And so I've never had to do 000. With the 7000, I haven't had to move the switch or do the 00 or add Mentis to the end of the file that I'm going to download, the firmware file to be downloaded. I haven't had to do any of that with this radio. But I'm in a, but the thing is, I'm directed connection to the computer, not going through a network. And that seems to be where my confusion is, and probably where other people's confusion is what happens when you're a network versus what happens when you're directly connected. And you can see a lot of the posts in the user group is saying if you have problems, connect the computer directly to the radio and eliminate the network at all, and you can recover. Like that guy who turned the radio off after he erased the firmware inside the radio. He didn't let bootloaders to complete the process. And he blew away one of the files inside the memory you need to do any of this. And so I saw that Doug had sent him a bootloader patch type code that he could put in there to get the radio to the point where it will accept anything. And so, but, for me, I've not had any of these problems. And is it because I've got the older radio, serial number 25 was one of the first radios, one of production radios from the Apache Labs. I believe that they probably built maybe 30 or 40 of them in the first production run, just to make sure everything was going to work. And then I don't know how many radios they build in a day or a week or anything like that. That's the kind of stuff that a manufacturer won't tell you. You don't need to know that for it. As they say in the movie, that's a need-to-know basis. But anyway, so I probably have the old memory chip versus a new memory chip, which is in the newer radios, which, to my observation, appears to be maybe part of the problem. Maybe the new chip is different enough that doing the procedures we have now isn't working as well as it should be. I don't know, And then there's all this J14 stuff, and it says, I don't really, I know that they used to have to move the jumper to reprogram the firmware, in the older radios, like the 10 and stuff. But So I'm confused, yeah. I'm confused because I haven't had a problem yet in doing this. Now, according to what they've said, if I ever try to go back to Protocol 1, then I would have to have the latest bootloader and programmer and stuff like that to go backwards. And it might be, in somebody's case said that if there's newer firmware upgrades coming out, which I'm pretty sure there will be, the bootloader that I have, it's an older version, won't work. So I'd have to go and get the latest and greatest and stuff like that. So, but I don't know, yeah. To me, everything works fine, so I'm lost as to what people like you and others are having the problems with. So anyway, I guess that's all I can say, Mike. Well, other than I'm sorry you had all those problems with it. So, K0JTA in the group, WB6JFH, go ahead.
Okay, real good. WB6JFH and the SDR group. This is K0JTA. First off, I'm going to take a real short standby here. Anybody else would like to join in with the software-defined radio group? This is K0JTA standing by. Go over. Yep, nothing heard. By the way, you had mentioned that I had posted on the SDR group. I don't recall doing that, so I have to look in the group there and see what in the heck I had done, if I have done it, and this kind of stuff. Let's see. I took some notes here too. Your serial number is number 25. Mine is serial number 117, I believe. I'd have to turn it up here and try to peer underneath, but I think that's what I have is serial number 117. Wait, I think I have it written on one of these things here. Yep, mine is 7000 BLE, serial number 117 as far as my the label on the bottom of the radio. That is, it's just a printed label, of course, but yeah, I don't know what the difference might be, but it's just interesting. So in your case, you don't need to throw that switch. In my case now, for doing the IP reconfiguration or recapture, whatever like that, reassignment, this would be the case. In my case also, when I would be recovering or reestablishing a new IP family, this has always been through a switch. So the Cat6 shielded Ethernet cable goes from the computer to the gigabit switch. From the gigabit switch, it goes to all kinds of different places, and then it goes to the radio. Not then goes to, but it also goes to the radio. So, for the recovery and this kind of stuff, yes, it was suggested that I go direct, but I think these are people that just are offering things, just like, if that doesn't work, okay, you just jiggle this a little bit, or you give it more choke and this kind of stuff, or don't you choke it too much, just offering opinions, but without an absolute justification or reason, you might say. But again, my point is that in my case, I was able to recover my IP loss by just, leaving the switch as is. I just ran the bootloader. I was able to hit, I forget what that is now, something about Discover or something like that. It showed up with a number. I got the MAC address of what apparently was the radio. I then went to the IP thing. I typed in 0.0.0.0. I hit apply or write or whatever it was, and that took. And once again, that was through the network and through my not having to throw the switch, which once again was stressed as being an absolute requirement. It was necessary that the switch be in the boot position, otherwise that would not work. But like I said, 2 times it did work. The first time was when I got the radio, because it was a used radio, and of course this guy's IP family was 192.168.1. something. In my case, mine is 192.168.88. something. Oh, back then it was 192.168.254. something. Okay, so I had to use the IP recovery method, and that worked, and so then the radio turned out to be 192.168.254. let's say 68 or whatever like that. All right, then a few months back, I went through a very, very, very large configuration change due to my ISP and the fact that I went to a fixed IP address and this kind of stuff. Anyway, so the IP family changed from 192.168.254 to 192.168.88. something. All right, so in other words, I lost the ability to talk to the radio again. So I used that same thing, left the switch where it was, going through my network. I assigned an IP address of 0.0.0.0, the power cycle of the radio, turned the application on, and it worked. So these losses were due to predictable flaws or errors because of the fact that in both cases my stuff here was not going to match what was in the radio. But yeah, so I'm just really curious again here, and I got a big mark next to the thing that in your case, you're using a direct connection. I don't know if that would be necessary. I'm thinking not. But in your case, you had left your slide switch in the run position. You've never used it to go to the boot position, yet you're able to load this stuff just interestingly easy. In my case, I've always switched it. I was able to supposedly load the protocol 2, but it failed as far as running Thetis. Then I would move the switch back to the boot position again, load the protocol 1, and then I was able to run HPSPR again. But I'm just wondering, with your past experience here, you did not have to throw that switch, so I'm just thinking, that's the next thing I'm going to try. WP6JFH in the SDR group. This is K0JTA. Go ahead there, David. Over.
Give a pause if anybody else wants to check in. K0JTA in the group, WB6JFH. Okay, yeah, Mike, I've not had this has been really smooth for me in updating all this stuff. However, you remember the N10 when I tried to update the firmware, I got in all kinds of trouble. And both you and Lou were helping me out with using TeamViewer, trying to figure out what to do, and trying to get it, because I broke the radio. It quit working, and there wasn't anything I could do, just like that guy with where he turned the radio off while the bootloader was still doing his thing. And ran in, and then eventually with the 10, Doug, W5WC, he sent me an email giving me some instructions on how to recover, just like he did with this other guy, and that got me back up and running. And I was able then to download the latest firmware for the Anon 10, which as far as I know is 3.2. Of course, there's a protocol 2 for it, but people don't seem to be having much luck with that. Probably because it's the older board and the older PGA, FPGA, and maybe it's just not backward compatible. But anyway, so I did have a lot of the problems with the 10, like people are having now with the new protocol and stuff. So I don't think anybody really knows what's really going on. There's all this stuff, like I said, talking about different memory chips between the older versions, like I have, to the newer versions, like you have, and stuff like that. And, if George has a Mark II version, then the chip's supposed to be that new one and things. So is that the common denominator? And all the other stuff is just getting, is the smoke screen. The smoking gun is actually that switch for that part. I've seen this a lot in production when I was working for Hewlett-Packard, so that's why I'm kind of going down that road a little bit. Because I've seen part manufacturers change the part and say that the part still has the same characteristics, and yet they wouldn't work. So obviously they don't. So I've had a lot of issues with that when I was working at Hewlett-Packard and stuff. So that's why, like I said, thinking that might be the common problem. But nobody really knows yet. We got the brains working on it, like Scott. This new guy that's doing the firmware, I can't think of his name now, who took over from Phil, who did the original firmware stuff. Anyway, so I'm sure those guys are really trying to dig into this. trying to figure out what's really going on. But it should be pretty seamless, you know. You just use the bootloader, tell the bootloader where the new file is, and hit the go button if you like, and it does its thing. So, but you know, I'm not real familiar with networks, and so now my tongue is talking sideways, so just a second. Okay, so now I get confused because I don't understand networking yet. Well, not that I don't understand it, it's just that I've never experienced it, so I don't have that knowledge to see what's really going on with networks like you do and George and a lot of other people do. So, anyway, so I think it's still a mystery that hasn't been solved yet is what's really going on. But, like I said, because the brains are on it, that they should be able to figure it out eventually. K0JTA in the group, WB6JFH experiment.
Yep, sounds good. Your summary is just golden. So I'm going to take another real short standby here. WB6JFH and the SDR group. This is K0JTA. My name is Mike. I'm located in southeastern Minnesota, and this is, once again, the SDR group. For the people that might have an interest, if you'd like to be able to see what I see and hear what I hear, look me up in KRZ.com. My call once again is K0JTA, Kilo 0 Juliet Tango Alpha, K0JTA. Once you look me up in QRZ.com, there's a red link at the very top of that page. Click on that. That'll take you to YouTube. Once you're there, look for the little icon that says Live Now. Click on that, and then you'll be able to see what I see and hear what I hear. Let's see. Anybody would like to check into the Software Defined Radio Group? This is K0JTA standing by. Over. Yep, nothing heard. Yeah, your experience there as far as changing parts and this kind of stuff and things being largely the same, but kinda not quite. Yeah, that's really quite interesting. Yeah, it's pretty darn interesting. And with your experience here, you say that they would change and they would say everything was working fine, or it's just going to be the same, but it wasn't quite. Well, that's just rather unfortunate or interesting. Yeah. Oh well, what can you do? What can you do? Well, and I had forgotten about your troubles with your N and 10 then. So in the case of your 10, that was the same situation where you had lost the ability of the radio to communicate with the computer, or vice versa. And with this, was that with Thetis, or was that with HPSDR? WB6GFH, K0JTA, over.
K0JTA in the group. WB6JFH. No, this was Protocol 1 stuff. And, this was a couple of years ago when I tried to update the firmware in on 10 and stuff. And I think what happened is I got lost in what position to put the switch in. I think that's how I broke the radio. Or broke the ability to download the new firmware and stuff like that. So, anyway, so I've been through that with the 10, but like I said, the 7000 has been just real smooth to get it all set up and stuff. So I'm running Thetis 2.6.7 right now, which so far is the latest. I suspect by summertime we'll probably see another version come out, like 2.6.8 or something like that. And I saw that somebody said that there was a experimental firmware of 2.0. Well, somebody else was doing something and came up with 2.0. And so I tried to get to the website, and my computer said, website not found. So I don't know if there's an error in the address or what. So anyway, so far as I know, the firmware is still 1.9. I expect that'll change too as we go along when they start bringing out all the bugs. And what I'm really interested in is the networking stuff, the server stuff. There's not a lot of explanation of what you're actually going to do with that, but it sounds like you can hook the radio right into a hotspot or your internet access, and then remote it from, like my clinic, like you're doing, but you're taking other steps to get there and stuff. So I mentioned that to the guy that's going to help me out with this network, put it together so I can remote the station and stuff. And he says, first thing he asks is it all working? And I said, well, from what I've seen, it's not all totally working yet, or they put a work in progress. He says, why don't we wait until they get that working? And that might make life real simple for us to be able to set up remoting your radios. If it works like he thinks it's going to work. So I'm waiting for the next rev with software. Like I said, probably 2.6.8 or 9 or whatever it's going to be, where they have time to bring out the bugs with that part of the meters and stuff, and maybe networking this or getting remote working on this will be as easy as it's been in upgrading the firmware and stuff. At least that's what I'm hoping. But we'll see, as people start playing with that and start mentioning on the user group, or people like Rob, AEX, the website has a lot of information on how to set up things like CFC and stuff like that. Maybe one of those guys will have a section that will tell you how to set this up and stuff. Like the people do with back and things like that. So anyway, I'm going to wait to see what comes out of this before we start trying the remote thing. Because like I said, it might make it real easy to do so. So anyway, one other comment I had was that when you posted that stuff last week is when I saw it. You got blasted. Scott blasted you for doing that. And I take exception to that kind of activity. You had a problem, and you explained the problem, explained the steps that you took to resolve the issue, and Scott came back and said that, he kind of slapped you on the wrist for doing that. So I don't know if you saw that or not, but I did, and that's how I read it. So, like I said, I take exception to that. We're all trying to figure out these radios. We're not breaking them on purpose. We're all running into various problems and stuff like that with networking and all the stuff that, because these radios are so complicated, even George said there's some stuff he just doesn't know how to work and stuff like that. And I respect him as being really knowledgeable about software-defined radios. So anyway, I'm sorry that you sort of got blasted for the posting that you did. And because that, to me, is unacceptable. And before I go, do you want me to see if I can browse up any other people before I turn it back to you? Go ahead.
Okay, real good. Yeah, please do. Go ahead, K0JTA.
Alrighty. This is WB6JFH, Whiskey Bravo 6, Juliet Foxtrot Hotel. For any station you want to check into the software group that can hear me, please give a call. Go ahead.
Kilo Golf 7, Oscar, Quebec, Yankee.
Kilo Golf 7, Oscar, Quebec, Yankee. This is WB6JFH. Go ahead.
Important unit, Kurt here in Kurt Park. I was surprised I could hear you on 20 meters just a few miles away, booming in here. Usually 20 meters shoots right over my house. But enjoying listening to your conversation and just listening along. One love to let you know I was here. KG7OQY, back to you.
Alrighty. Can you hear Mike? K0JTA, go ahead.
Yeah, I've got a fine copy on him as well.
Okay. Well, Mike is the net control operator, so I'll turn it over to him, and you can check with him and he'll add it to the list and stuff. I'm afraid I can hear you at all, so. But, I got the KP34 back up last year, and it's kind of pointing a little bit south of east, because Mike is in Minnesota, and it works, it's been working great. It's a whole different ballgame from the old TA33 that I had up temporarily. And, signals are a whole lot stronger, and I've been able to work people I could barely hear with the TA33 and stuff. So why don't you give Mike a call, and he can check in, see if he can hear you, and if you want to stick around, then you can listen to, software-defined radios and stuff. So, go ahead and call Mike, WB6JFH. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, Mike. You're not far away from the other station, and I'm sorry to catch your call. I'm ADD, so should be able to pick you up okay. Officer, Quebec.
Okay, Kurt, KG70QY, and by the way, I don't know if I got your call correct. I have written down Kilo Golf 7 Oscar Quebec Yankee, and maybe it's a Kilo Bravo 7, not sure. And I got your name written down here as Kurt with a K. You're not wildly strong here. David, you're much stronger. Kurt, or whatever your name is, OQY, go ahead, K0JTA. Give me a fill on your call sign if you would, please. Over.
Yeah, Mike, looks like you got the call right. Kilo Golf 7, Oscar, Quebec Yankee. And I turned the power back up on the radio a little bit here. Still barefoot, but I only had it at 10 watts when I was talking to Dave there. So don't really have anything to add to that.
Okay, I guess you turn it over. You're just taking a little bit of a fade there. I'm going to play back how you're coming in here. Here it comes. Okay, I'll chop it off there, but you get the picture. You were just fading down. And I have your name as Kurt, but once I'm spelling it with a K. Is it? How do you spell your name, if you would, please? And I have your call correctly then. Kilo Golf 7 Oscar Quebec Yankee. Over.
Yeah, that's all correct. And name Kurt, Kilo Uniform Romeo Tango. And yeah, sorry I'm not coming in as strong now. You're a good time, 8 years in Deer Park, so good signal for you. Maybe you're on an amp or something. I'm just running at 80 watts. That's pointed your way. So nothing to add, but I will listen along for a little bit for QSY. K0JTA. Thanks for having me into the net.
Okay, real good. Well, nice to meet you, Kurt, and nice to have you aboard. Okay, and your 80 watts. Yeah, I'm running a little bit of power here. I'm running an Anon 7000 DLE, and that's about 35 watts power into a little ALS 600 amplifier, which at that power level gives me a nice, comfortable 400 watts of power. My antenna is a 75 meter loop antenna at about 35 feet. So that's about the way that goes. But, okay, and your 80 watts, yeah, that did help out a lot, because 10 watts was just right down there in the noise. But your 80 watts was a huge help, there's no doubt. So, what are you running for radio there, Kurt? Over.
Well, I wiped the dust off my old Kenwood TS570 this morning. I usually run the ICOM 7300 because I like the Spectrum display on it for sure. But once in a while, I like to make sure this old Kenwood is still running because I do like the audio on Kenwood.
Okay, well, I got a couple of the 7300s here too, and I tell you what, that 7300 does better than it has a right to almost. So it has real good transmit audio and this kind of stuff. Actually, it seems like people have put other microphones on the 7300s, and everybody agrees that the stock mic actually works the best. Of course, you do have some limited ability to affect the transmit and receive, not bandwidth, but the peaking of the lows and highs and this kind of stuff. So, yeah. Okay, I think you said you're at Deer Park, so you're darn close to to David then. And it's rather interesting. You folks can still each hear each other and still be able to communicate with me. It works out just really quite convenient. I have a fellow who lives just south of me here. He did check into this group earlier, K0JTA, and he lives about 8 miles from me, 8 miles southeast of me. At any rate, K0JTA, if you wanted to run along, I'll let you do that, but otherwise, go ahead and just enjoy our blathering about this SDR stuff. K0JTA, K0JTA, over.
All right, Mike. Yeah, always interested in the SDR and new technology, so interesting to listen along. I don't own any SDR equipment other than like a little, they call them the SDR Play. That's just a receiver only, but I don't have a transceiver for SDR. But good to hear. It was nice to meet you, K0JTA from KG7OQI73. You guys carry on this morning.
Okay, one last thing. You said you have the 7300, right? That is what I would call a Series 2. I can't get the proper term, but anyway, that definitely is an SDR. That definitely is an SDR. You look inside, there's no tune circuits, there's no mixers, and this kind of stuff. So it definitely is a software-defined radio if you have a 7300, over.
Yeah, I like to think of it as a software-defined radio with the buttons on it. I like to use a radio with buttons and everything rather than having to use a computer with an interface. For me, unfortunately, the computer and radio just don't jive together in my mind. The radio is a radio and the computer is a computer. Love computers for different things, but I don't really necessarily like to combine them. If I had a perfect radio and the computer screen would be right on it, and I could do close sketches and all that right from the radio screen,
Yep. Well, that's what you got with a 7300. That is a software-defined radio. There's no doubt about it, because it does have the FPGA, just like David and I are running. FPGA is the Field Programmable Gate Array, and once again, if you open it up, you'll see an absence of mixers and tune circuits and filters and this kind of stuff, because all that stuff is done by the FPGA, which effectively is the CPU for that particular application. So if you got a 7300, you sure do have and absolutely have a software-defined radio. So good. Like I said, I actually have 3 of those things. One for the camper, and then one upstairs that's just right sitting directly in front of me here. Another one downstairs in the basement shop. So, but it definitely and absolutely is an SDR, over.
Good to hear that from some true blood SDR guys. Yeah, I didn't realize that FPGA was the same thing that you had in your radio, so that's pretty cool. So when I first got it, I didn't like the small size of it, but I've come to grow to enjoy the compact size. I used to like to have a bigger radio. I used to dream of like an Icom 7700 to be a nice one, but small size definitely has its perks for portability.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, that's why I have a 7300 for my camper, so that works out just fine. I used to have the 7610, which is also a second generation SDR, just like the 7300. Matter of fact, it has 2 receivers in it, the same receivers apparently as the 7300, which is pretty darn hard to beat. But so that was a bigger radio, had a bigger display, but at 3 times the cost, and I didn't have a real need for all the features and functions and abilities that it could do. I'm just a rag chewer, so if I was a DXer, I would have a need for being able to look at 2 different frequencies on 2 different bands and this kind of stuff. I just did not have that, so I did sell it. But yeah, the 7300, you got a heck of a nice radio there, so no doubt. So yep. Yeah, learn more about it and this kind of stuff, and you'll see that, yeah, what you got is pretty darn hard to beat, to make a long story short. People are having difficulties with it only in one area, that is with the receive, if you got a strong signal, but there is an RF gain control. Well, use that and the troubles go away. Now with any radio, you can have this same kind of an issue, but with a digital radio, it becomes a little bit more dramatic, perhaps. I don't know why I shouldn't actually use that kind of a term, but it's not a big deal, to make a long story short. At worst, you'll get, a DSP overload or something like that light. That's if you have a very, very, very strong signal. but it actually doesn't do a heck of a lot of harm, as far as I know. It just, the light lights up. It might be offensive or scary, but that's the end of it, so ignore it. But anyway, nice to meet you, Kurt. Drop back in again. And also look me up in K0JTA.com. You'll be able to see your signal and hear your signal and see what I'm looking at here on my computer screen and things like that. K0JTA, I'll say 73 unless you had something further than. This is K0JTA. This is the Software Defined Radio Group. Over.
All right, Mike, thanks for all the good info on my 7300. Do appreciate that. One of these days I want to try to tap into the IF output on it, see what I can do with that, have some fun with that. So you guys carry on. I'll turn it back over to Dave, and good morning to you there, neighbor. I know I think it's WB6JFH, KG70QY. Good morning.
Your 7300 has no IF output. There is no IF.
Oh, I thought it did, so I guess I learned another thing there. Thanks, Mike. Good morning, guys.
Yeah, well, that's why, once again, it's a software defined radio. So if you have an IF, that means you have mixers and this kind of stuff and filters. The 7300 doesn't have that stuff. Over.
Okay, well, I'm learning more and more as I listen along. Thank you.
Yep. What you got's hard to beat. At any rate, you can extract the signal after it goes through the limited preselector and this kind of stuff. You can do that with, I forget what the name of the piece of hardware is you can buy that'll actually intercept this, and then so with that, then you'd be able to run an external display through your SDR play and this kind of stuff, but not a heck of a lot of need. You can actually do that through other software too. Go ahead there, David. WB6JFH73 Kurt, K0JTA, over.
This is WB6JFH. Kurt, sometime when you're out in my neighborhood, stop by and I'll show you the Apache Labs and the software and stuff like that. So you can see what Mike and I are playing with, you know, and stuff like that. And there's just been a new release of firmware and software for our radios. And so we're getting closer to what Flex can do, you know. I haven't tried this yet, but we can get spots from the DX cluster now on our fan adapter. We also have a band scope like the 7300 has. That's been added. And there's still some other features in the work. And like I said, the big one was that being able to turn the software into a server with the radio as the server part, and being able to remote it from another location. As you probably remember, I'm still going through dialysis, and it'd be real nice to be able to remote the station here from dialysis and work a bunch of people while I'm sitting there with 2 needles in my arm for 4 hours. And this new stuff that might be able to make that setup really easy. So we're waiting to see if there's an update in the firmware, because the server stuff is brand new, and as you know, brand new stuff always is. So as I like to say, it's a work in progress. So we're going to wait until the next rev of software comes out and see, you know, how to actually use it and see if it'll actually work for me. So that's one thing. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was that Apache Labs has created, with help from some of the developers, a box called the Raspberry Pi, because it uses a Raspberry Pi computer in it, which has knobs and buttons and, you know, all the stuff you have on the traditional radio. And you can plug that in and run the radio from that. So you can be just like a normal radio, just that you have 2 boxes instead of 1, like the 7300 is, and 7610 and some of the others, and has a front panel on with all the buttons and so on and stuff. So I can show you that too when I stop by sometime and see what's going on there. Unfortunately, the software I have the high controller. So I assume there's an update out for the box. Actually, I downloaded it last week. But this Raspberry Pi has been in the operating system, which is Linux, and I'm not real strong in Linux yet, so I haven't been able to get it to install. But we'll work on that throughout the week. Or the rest of this month and stuff, so I can use the Pi to control 7,000 now. So anyway, it was good to hear you. Like I said, like you, I'm surprised I can even hear you right now, because you're not that far away, probably about 7 miles or so, and probably antennas are not important and pointing at each other, so, wow, yeah. I'm not sure what the mode is. There's got to be ground waves of some sort, but, you know, with the directional antennas, it seems to be like it didn't really work. So anyway, good morning, Kirk, and we'll talk to you later. And if you want to email me, something like that, my call at adaverl.net will work. So, have a good evening, or good morning, and good day. I noticed there's some clouds out there now, so it's not going to be as sunny as they were promising last week for Mother's Day, but we'll see how it turns out. K0JTA, and the group WV6JFH. Bye.
Yeah, hey, Dave, see if I got it here. Okay, yeah, and my call, Oscar, Quebec Yankee. And yeah, you're moving in here at 5'9", no problem, F9. So I wonder off the back of my head if I'm still coming in at F9 view on ground waves, probably about 7 miles, like you say. And yeah, that's neat that you will be able to, maybe with the firmware update, be able to remote your rig there. That would work real good for you in your situation. And I would like to get a visit in with you sometime. I always said I was going to come over and visit with you because I wanted to get up to speed on packet. And I know you were good with packet, so you could maybe help me out with that. And I hear you talk a lot on the radio nowadays with WinLink and stuff. I haven't done WinLink for a while, but I used to like to do it on the HF side rather than 2-meter WinLink thing. I guess that was sail mail or something like that. Yeah, that's neat that Apache is going to have a bus type transport to go and pass on. So I know there's like radio did that, and that was pretty neat. Although quite expensive out of my realm, but neat stuff. All right, and Dave, the email, your call sign at, but I didn't know what at what. What was that? Can you repeat, please?
Okay, Kirk, sorry about messing up the call. It's my call at AWRL.net, Alpha Romeo Lima.net, and that's the reflector that AWRL has, and it'll come right to my inbox and stuff, so we can do that. And yeah, anytime you want to work on packet and WinLink and stuff like that, just give me a call, and I can show you. I've been using that stuff for years, so. Now, HF is RDOF instead of Winmore, which is a little bit more robust than Winmore was. And a lot of new analytical tools are being used now. New processes have come out over the years, and so this is an update. Plus, RDOF will run on it. Well, right now it will run on Windows and Linux. There is some people working on Android and Mac, and I think Mac is almost close for, public release. I'm not sure about the Android stuff yet. Those people don't check in a whole lot, so I'm not sure, where those developers are. But so the big issue with RDOF is it can run on different operating systems. Or it will. It's working on 2 right now. Third one is probably months away, maybe weeks away. The fourth one, I don't know where the development is on that one. So they're trying to please everybody. The big issue with Winmore, it was only working in Windows. And as you know, there are a lot of people that don't like Windows and stuff like that. So anyway, so we can talk about that when we get together. So you can use you can use 2 formats, 2 operating systems now, maybe a third one, by, I'm guessing, the end of summer, maybe in the middle of summer, and then the Android one, I don't know where it's at. I know people are working on it, but how far they progress, I don't know. So anyway, Kirk, we'll look forward to see you sometime, and have a good day. And it looks like the sun is starting to show out. It still shows it's going to be in the 80s, so it's going to be a nice day to be outside. So, great, and we'll chat with you later. K0JTA. OQY. I see I've got it right now. WB6JFH. Have a good day.
Thanks, Dave. You as well. Yeah, and I'll try to get a visit in this summer to your place for sure. So W6JFA and K0JTA. 7-3, good morning from KG7OQY. Back to you, Mike.
Okay, real good. Yeah, real good. Yeah, it's nice you guys can make an arrangement there and this kind of stuff. By the way, just kind of clarify as far as David's email address there, it would be WB6GFH at ARRL.net, not ARL. I think that's what I heard. So, Whiskey Bravo 6, Juliet Foxtrot Hotel, then the @ sign, then Alpha Romeo Lima dot November Echo Tango. So 7-3, Kurt, nice to have you aboard, over.
Okay, Mike, yeah, I copied that call sign there, or the email at ARRL. And there was a station calling me that maybe he couldn't hear you, so I will QSY up frequency. I think it was the KG0 Papa Alpha Tango. Well, I'm not going to go up to that at 340. Let me go down 335 there for the other station, and I'll say 7-3 to you guys, and I'm going to QSY to 335 if the other station wants to try to pick me up there. Good morning.
Yep, good morning, and I don't know if he's trying to reach the software defined radio group or what, but if he does, shag him back up here. 7-3, Kurt, over.
Yeah, 7-3, KG7OQY, QSY.
Okay, go ahead there, Dave, and maybe you heard that station too. I don't know. I did not hear anything here, over.
K0JTA in the group, WB6JFH. Yeah, I heard the other station. He was as strong as you were, and so you were, as they say in the feeder world, doubling. You won. So I thought I heard him say he was going to move down with Kirk and talk with them and stuff. And since I got the pan adapter wide enough, I'll probably be able to see that QSO starting as well. So, alrighty. Well, there we go. And we have another person interested in software-defined radio and stuff. Well, he already is, because that's the 7300. So, he's already there. And apparently with having the knobs and buttons and stuff like that is what he really likes to use. So, may not be we'll be able to convert him to a tiny lab radio, but at least I can show him what we have and the features we have and stuff like that. So, we'll see what happens. And then I can help him out with the other stuff as well. So, and I'm still surprised, as you can tell, that I could hear him. He's only about 7 miles away from me. And he's not in the beam width of my antenna, because it's pointing east, to get you and George and other people like that. So, and he's actually north of me. So, I don't know, you think you figured out propagation and stuff, and then something like this happens, it just blows your mind away, Why this? How come the system works and stuff? So, and I'm sure you, in your years of being a ham operator, you run across things like that too. And just kind of scratch your head going, I wonder what's going on here. So, anyway. So, are you going to get back to the other subject? You're going to try and go to Thesis again and see if you can get it to work, or are you using it now, or are you back to, Power SDR, Mike? K0JTA, the group, WB6JFH, go ahead.
Okay, real good. WB6GFH, here is K0JTA. I can see that conversation down there, 14.335, I guess it is. So, yep. Interesting. My resolution here is markings here. 14.340 is where we are. The next one down is 338, 336, 334. But anyway, so I could see him down there. I changed modes. I mean, transmit mode before it was every 5 kilohertz. Yep. So on transmit mode, I have a little bit different span here for whatever reason. Just a setting, I guess, but no big deal. So. Belay my last. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot here again. I've given it many tries, but the thing is, I've always tried to do it by the book and things like that. And yeah, as far as I do recall that that I was not favorably responded to, you might say. That's putting it gently. But with my comments to the user group, yeah, that's been some time back. I didn't think it was just a week ago. I thought it was sometime a lot further back. But yeah, that I was. Well, he emailed me directly too, and one of his comments was that I shouldn't be part of the problem. I should actually be part of the fix or the cure and this kind of stuff, and also that I should be putting it on the forum as opposed to the user group. I don't know. The forum, in a way, is a good repository for information, but I don't know. I guess I'm just simply not used to it. So to me, it's the user group is more like a ongoing conversation, which is a little bit, well, at least if nothing else, is more familiar to me. That may be not correct, or maybe the forum simply has greater powers as a result of its way it's set up and this kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. That's just the way it goes. Yep. He's a real sharp guy. There's no doubt. Very sharp. But I've seen him kind of nibble at people's bottom ends before, and I was just the recipient of the latest nibble, you might say. I've seen it before, and it's just his method of attack. I've seen him where he's had to be corrected on things. I've never actually seen him retract any of his previous stances or comments. That's just his method, I guess, or his desire, or his abilities, or lack thereof. I'm not sure what, but yeah, that's just the way it goes. So I take it with a grain of salt. Make a long story short, the good thing is he's a good steward for the user group. He's got a lot of good information there. Sometimes he does shoot a little bit quicker, so he's shooting first before asking questions and this kind of stuff, and that was the case in some of the things that I've noticed. So, but anyway, just my opinion. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to give it a shot at any rate. So just to see if I can make it work. If nothing else, what we have here with the Power SDR, it works real well. And by the way, as far as stability of the software and this kind of stuff, I've had many of the Flex radios, and I feel much more comfortable, more secure, and satisfied with the software that's involved here with the Apache Labs products. The folks that do the work on the OpenHP SDR, my goodness, I can't whisk my hat off quickly enough to acknowledge their abilities and their efforts and the results. So I just, on my last Flex with this Flex 6500, one thing I didn't like as far as it goes, like in the case of Apache here, you go ahead and turn it on, it's ready to go. You turn on the 66,000 series radios, you have to wait for it to boot up and this kind of stuff. It takes pretty close to 2 minutes before you're able to actually get the software running and this kind of stuff. So that's kind of a change, a difference, perhaps a disadvantage. At least for me it was, because I don't leave my radio playing all the time. The resolution to my complaint on this particular one is to just simply leave the radio playing all the time. Well, that would take care of it. But I guess I'm just simply not used to it in this case of, the solid-state radios. I want to use a radio, turn the radio on, switch the antenna, I'm good to go. And that's what the Apache Labs does for me. WB6JFH, this is K0JTA. Go ahead there, David, over.
K0JTA in the group. Well, at least what's left of it anyway. WB6JFH. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad that you're going to attempt this again. And would you like to, when you get to do this, would you like us to set up team viewers so I can watch you and maybe do like we did with the 10, call each other on the phone, and maybe I can see what you're doing and maybe be able to help you out with that? Would that be something you want to try, or do you just want to try it again and see what happens? Go ahead.
Okay, we could do this, but the problem is your limited bandwidth. I hate to suck up your limited bandwidth and we have to reinvest prematurely to get your internet back. Over.
Okay, yeah, that wouldn't be a problem. I just have to order another block of data or something like that. And since I'm getting a refund from my taxes, still got to put it in the bank. It just came yesterday. And I do have the extra cash now to do that. So if you were... So what I'm saying is that would not be a problem. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I appreciate the offer. I think I'll just go ahead and muck through it here myself, and I've been taking real good notes of this kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't know, actually what I could do is send you some notes that I had. I don't know if I did or not. I don't think I did. I don't think I sent you the notes that I had sent off to George, because George has been very, very good as far as offering good suggestions and this kind of stuff, and his information has been correct. I just was unable to have the success, but by him reading my notes, and also I had sent him a picture of my full page of notes here, and he was able to read that mess and give it the blessing that yes, I had done my steps correctly. So at this point, having a TeamViewer session or an AnyDesk session would be not terribly necessary. By the way, there's another program that is like TeamViewer, which you might want to look into. It's called AnyDesk. It's platform independent. It is a much smaller software download. It works, as far as I'm concerned, as well, if not better, than TeamViewer. So do look into that. It's a much smaller program, maybe 1 or 2 meg as opposed to maybe 12 or 13 or 14 meg for TeamViewer. Also, the TeamViewer do have to keep that updated and this kind of stuff. And if you're on different versions, this kind of stuff, it does turn into some issues and this kind of stuff. Also, with the AnyDesk, you can use that on your Android device, your iPhone, and this kind of stuff. With that, then I can be out and about, and I can, access my computer here at home, and it works out just fine. I have audio that's coupled in directly, automatically, you might say. So it's got some distinct advantages in many ways. But AnyDesk, common spelling, all one word, AnyDesk. Do look into that application. That's the one I would endorse over TeamViewer. WB6JFH, K0JTA, over.
K0JTA, WB6JFH. Okay, I'll look into that. Sounds good. So, thanks for that information. And if you ever want to try either that or TeamViewer, if you still can't get things working, I'll try and help you out with that. Get things going. George is also, as we've heard and seen for the last several years, he's a really good source of information about SDR radios and Apache Labs and stuff like that. So I'm glad that you communicate with him, and he's helping you out also. Because he's like, he's kind of like Scott, very knowledgeable with how these things work and how to make them work, and how to beat him on the head with the rubber mallet and get him to do what you want it to do, Yeah, like Scott, stuff like that. And so, anyway, the offer's there if you ever need it, so to help you out if you need it. So hope that you become successful. Because there's some programs, there's some differences between Power SDR and Fetus, and one of the things I've noticed, this is just empirical, it looks like the radio is just a little bit more sensitive than it was with Power SDR. The signals are a lot louder, if you like, when I switch from Power SDR to Fetus. The pan adapter is set up a little differently. You go in and set the size and the step size and all that. But it looks like the signals are just a little bit bigger by going back to the Power SDR settings. than they were with Power SDR. So I don't know, quantitatively, I don't know if it's actually a little bit more sensitive or not. It's an impression. My impression looks like it is a little bit. So, I don't know what you would do software-wise to do that, but it does sound unreasonable that it could have been done. Change the signal-noise ratio a little bit so that it favors weaker signals and stuff like that. Like for Lou, with the Power SDR, I wouldn't have been able to hear him at all. In the last 2 weeks since I've run pieces, even though he barely wiggles the fan adapter, the noise floor and fan adapter, I can almost hear him well enough to tell what he's saying, what he's talking about. Not, it's not 100%, but with the Power SDR, I would have no chance to even know he was there. So there seems to be a change there. Like I said, I can't quantify it until somebody does sensitivity measurements and stuff like that. We don't really know if there's that kind of difference. And, and I've learned with the SDR is that quantitative numbers doesn't really give you the whole story. Look at when they tested the 8,000 Power Review and QST. They came up with average numbers where people like George and others were saying, no, it's actually better than that. So, numbers don't always give you the whole picture. And if you ever watch the TV series House Numbers, you can see that comes out quite a bit in there. So anyway, whether it's actually more sensitive or not, I don't really know. It's just my impression that it might be a little bit. So anyway, I hope you get this up and running. Because one of the things you're going to like is now we have a fan scope like you have when you're 3000. Up there on the top of the main window, there's a button, well not a button, but a number called WB, wide band. And that'll bring up a fan scope so you can see all the signals the radio is receiving through the range of the radio, which our radios go from 9 kilohertz to 60 megahertz. You'll see that whole range. And if you have I bet your 7.5 booth will probably receive lots of signals in the shortwave band and maybe even AM broadcast band, something like that. You bring this up when I have the G5RV, so like the, for 80 and 40, I see all this stuff, signals all over the place. So you can use that, I like to try and work 6 meters, and you can have the fan scope up with the beam or the G5RV and see if any signals start popping up on 6. In which case I can switch there immediately and make contact, hopefully, with whoever's on. So you can look for band openings as well. And last week when the band was so terrible, you could barely hear me, and I could barely hear you. I had the band scope up, and I could see where the MUF, maximum usable frequency, was at. It was way below 20 meters when we had the net last Sunday and stuff. I think it was somewhere around 9 megahertz, 8, 10 megahertz, right around 30 meters, somewhere right in that range. So I could see with the band scope why we were having a terrible time talking to each other. So anyway, you like that feature? I haven't tried the sonic feature yet. The GX cluster, if you connect to the cluster through the internet, supposedly you're supposed to be able to do it through packet radio, assuming you have a node that connects to the cluster. And then on your pan adapter, you'll see all the spots or the DX stations that people have said they've just worked on, just like Flex does. And so, but I haven't tried that. It's there. You can bring up the screen. I'm not sure yet how to set up the screen. To do that, plus I'd have to hook up to the internet and have that running also. So anyway, so I haven't tried that feature yet, but it is basically I'm not a DXer. I like to talk to DX patients, but that's not my main goal. Main goal is emergency communication. But anyway, so that's another feature that's been added. The VAC stuff has been changed. There's some different settings there that's supposed to help us be able to synchronize software, audio software, like any of the digital stuff, like RDOF and stuff. And then you have the ability to push the sample rate way up. For us, we can go to 1.5 mega samples per second. I haven't tried that yet, but we can do it. The 200D, I think you can only get up to like the 900, maybe the 700, or 4 times, 5 times. What are the really set with power SDR. And so that's going to make a difference. It might even make the radio usable for RDOF. Because it's more processing, so it's probably rate speed's probably been reduced quite a bit, but I haven't heard anything about that yet. Because it just things to the problem. And it probably starts the timing issue I have with RDOF, so I'm hoping I haven't tried that yet. I'm hoping that I can use 7,000 RDOF. For power SDR, I just couldn't get it to sync. I know it's timing issues, and I just couldn't figure out what the timing issues were giving me problems. That's all through the back stuff, so. But that's been updated, and maybe the updates will help me with that as well. That's one of the projects down the road, is to try and see if I can get RDOF to work on it. If I can, then that means all the other digital arts will work too. Well, some of them do. Like Olivia or Jenny, and that works fine with 7,000. But it's not a timed issue. So anyway, we'll see. Lots of things that I have on my to-do list to try with the new software, and that's going to be hampered by any upgrades that come along or updates. So I've been through this with Winlock, with a tester for Winlock when it was in the alpha beta mode. So I've been through this kind of stuff. So after experience, all the things you end up changing as the new software comes out, and so on and so forth. So I guess I talked a little bit there. Probably, the radio is starting to warm up a little bit now. The band hasn't kicked up to high speed yet, so I haven't talked to them. But I've been hearing that the 7,000 are because of the heat. The heat thing is different than it is in the 200 and all the 100 series. It takes a lot longer for it they really heat up. This comes from the 8,000. So with the 10, if I talk this long with a 10, it would be so hot that it would reach the out temperature unless I had some kind of external fan blowing across it. So far with the 7,000, I haven't had to worry about that. So I'm guessing that next month during field day, I won't heat up the radio to the point where I get the high temp light with using it, for, I don't know how long I'm going to be on. I have dialysis in the morning, so I probably won't get on it until about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And like last one, I worked until, I got close to midnight, and then I ran out of energy. My battery discharged to the point where I couldn't keep my eyes open anymore. And that's when I had to quit. But anyway, so we'll see this time. I'm going to make a little bit bigger effort and see, so can I heat the radio up to a point where I get the high temp right on it, or hear the fan start spinning up. I've not did the mod to take the fan, disconnect it from the FPGA and hook it up to a 12-volt bus like you have, and get the racket that it makes, because it's being pulse width modulated, and that's what makes the racket in the fan. The fan noise doesn't bother me, so I'm not going to open up the radio and move cables around or wires around to get the fan to be quiet. I don't know what it's like at high speed, so I may have to do that then, because it might be so noisy you can't hear the audio and stuff like that. So anyway, we'll turn it back to you, and we'll see how the band is holding up. And it was really good to hear Kirk and stuff. He helped me with some of the antenna projects that I had and stuff like that. So, and he is a DXer, so he likes DXing and stuff. So anyway, back to you, Mike. I think I've run my weight down a little bit. K0JTA, the group, WB6JFH, for that.
Okay, real good. WB6JFH and the SDR group. This is K0JTA, the SDR group of 2 people at this particular point. Yep, nice little gathering here. Very intimate. Yep. By the way, there was, I haven't heard them on yet, but there's a group that generally likes to have this frequency at 2 p.m. my time, local time. Is that group waiting? If so, please give me a call. This is K0JTA, over. Hearing nothing. I don't know, maybe conditions are just real bad. I know that their activity has been kind of tapering off too, just like ours. Yep, that business of being able to see the wide span of frequency from, I guess, the factor 0 to 60 megahertz, that's pretty interesting. And like you had pointed out there, the one thing I'd missed, the ability to quite easily spot then the minimum usable frequency, or maximum, minimum, I guess, well, whatever, MUF, and things like that. And with the Thetis being more sensitive than Power SDR, well, my goodness, that's going to be quite something. I know I've compared my Apache to the 7300 and the 7610, and the Apache seemed like it is doing a very, very, very good job by comparison. I don't know if there's much of a difference. I think I'll just give it just a slight nod to the Apache Labs radio, but interesting that Thetis has got even a greater ability, so that's really quite interesting. I don't know if it has to do with the audio shaping and this kind of stuff. Of course, it's a whole different application as far as the firmware that runs the FPGA, so that does make good sense. So, yep, I'm going to give it a shot here, and I'll let you know what goes on, this kind of stuff. If it turns out that you'd like to be able to see me go through the steps, I could do that then also. Probably won't be today, but yes, we will definitely consider that. So with that then, I don't have anything further here. Maybe we'll just consider wrapping things up for the present time, and then see you next weekend if that's going to be okay with you. WB6JFH, this is K0JTA, over.
K0JTA, WB6JFH. Okay, Mike, yeah. I thought I heard station down just above the noise when he turned it back to you last time, so maybe the other group back here. Probably a good idea to call it a day, get ready with some other day-type activities, things like that. So, and yeah, anytime you wish my help, stuff like that, just let me know. We can figure out some way, whether TeamViewer or the other stuff, and see if I can help you out. I know that you're using George as a resource, and so maybe between the two of us we can get you. So we'll say 73, fine. Enjoy the afternoon. We'll check up with next week. The band is just as good as it's been today. My noise level is still really low. Lately in the afternoon, it starts creeping up. And, as the day goes on, it starts creeping up. Yesterday, when I turned the radio on 20, my noise on 20, up to about 6. And I turned the beam south or north, which way, and it dropped back down to about too. So I know that I'm picking up a lot of noise. Stuff like that. You know, and there's a lot of people between you and I making all kinds of noise generators in their houses and cars, you know, whatever. So I haven't tried pointing it west yet. I should do that. See, because there's a lot less people pointing west than me, because I'm looking out over the Pacific. So I'll have to try that maybe today, this afternoon, or see, turn it around and see what I hear, and see what happens. Always listen. So anyway, we'll say 7-3. We'll chat with you later, and if you need my help, go ahead and give me a shout. K0JTA, WB6GFH. Have a good afternoon, Mike. Go ahead.
Sounds real good, David. WB6GFH, this is K0JTA. Interesting experiment as far as being able to turn your antenna there and look at different noise levels as you had done before, but it never looked to the west. So yeah, that's really quite interesting. I don't know what's further west of you there, if you're within visual sight. I don't think you're in visual sight of the ocean, but unless if nothing else, you're maybe aimed out there towards Seattle and things like that, which would be a source of noise in itself, but collectively not as much as when you're aimed to the east, because there's a lot more people out east. But yeah, it's just an interesting experiment, so let me know how that all turns out then. And yep, I'll keep you updated, posted, and this kind of stuff on what my happenings are. And like I say, if you get a chance, or as you take your tablet into the infusion center there for your dialysis, take you know, just do some looking around there and look for that AnyDesk application. It's a very, very nice situation. I really do like it. It runs smoothly, and in my case, it creates little shortcuts which gives you a picture of the last used desktop. I think it gives you the number of that particular station, which you can modify by putting in text if you want, and that's what I do. So for example, when I'm dealing with Lois, my wife's sister, her computer, I put Lois, and then I put parentheses and I put her number in there, but the number is really not necessary. But you know, little touches like that. But it just seems like it operates very smoothly, and with I believe it actually takes less bandwidth than TeamViewer, but I really don't know about that. I should actually measure it. But like I said, it works out just fine on an iPhone or in an Android device, be it a tablet or a cell phone, things like that. So it's a very nicely well-behaved cross-platform interface that, like I said, as far as I can tell, it's as good, if not better, in some ways than TeamViewer. So TeamViewer, 2 times I've been bitten by the accusation that I've been using it on a commercial basis, which of course was not the case. And when they do that, then they cut you off. And so far, AnyDesk has not done that. You can buy commercial versions of AnyDesk just like TeamViewer, but I don't have a need for that. They said for personal use it's okay, and so I'm qualified there. So that's what I use. 7-3 then, I'm going to go upstairs and get myself some bite to eat. It's almost 2 o'clock here in the afternoon. 7-3 then, David, enjoy the chat very much. And you're also, it's just like George, you're a good resource on things fetus and things SDR and things like that. I do appreciate it. WB6GFH 73 K0JTA, clear. Over.
Okay, Mike. Yeah, well, chat with you later, and have a good afternoon. And like I said, if you need my assistance, email me. No, you can use the ARRL net to email me. Pop in my email box. Go from there. So anyway, have a good afternoon. We'll catch up with you next week. K0JTA. 73, WB6GFH.
Yep, see you later on then. K0.